It's not going to get cancer, statistically speaking, so it's okay. You know, and this is how I justified it. And this system too of reasoning can be this self-justification machine that just goes crazy, and you will convince yourself it's okay, you're doing anything. And this is what happens to many people, like they interviewed in the Nixon administration, where they got busted for the scandal of the voting fraud. And they said that they're asked, how did you do that? And they justified it. I was doing it for the good of the nation. And this is where you start getting people like radical religious zealots killing each other, blowing themselves up. How do you do that? It's through this self-justification system that we come up with. And so you get people with really weird behavior that, to a normal person, you don't see why they would do it. Like battered women. Like, why are you staying with this person who's beating you? And it turns out, if the woman, or usually it's the woman with an abusive boyfriend or man, when they get there, if they had gotten smacked right away, they would never come back. But it doesn't start that way. It starts one step at a time, to where you get accustomed to it. And then when you start justifying this, you start justifying that, you turn it into this person you wouldn't even recognize. So same thing happens with alcoholics or anybody else with any kind of addiction. You're not born an addict. You turn into an addict systematically. Same thing if you're the bad guy. Let's say you're some evil dictator like Hitler or whatever. Be that evil, one step at a time. You're a product of your environment, and your environment takes you one step further. You keep justifying things. You can turn into anything, I promise you, and so that. So this is important for maintaining integrity as a movement. If you have some kind of social movement like the Zeitgeist movement or the Venus Project or Occupy Wall Street and all its affiliates, you have to maintain integrity. You and your organization can turn into something you don't even recognize given enough time. And that's happened. You justify one thing, you justify another thing. You have to understand that people can do this, and you have to really protect yourself against that. So here I have the example of Rome, where they started off an empire, a republic against monarchies, and then they ended up right back where they started with having emperors. And it's interesting. I like it. So maintain the balance. Uh, you have to understand everything you do, there's a cause and effect. Um, because of the fast food movement, it gave rise to the slow food movement. If you have a completely scientifically based community with no spirituality, you're going to have spiritual fundamentalists coming at you. You have to understand every action is a reaction, and you have to balance of things. I'm scientifically trained, and I try to remember to keep the spirituality side of me. And so we don't want to be all system one. We don't want to be all system two. Like, so hey, the Tin Man with no heart, and we got the Scarecrow with no brain. We want to be some system one. We want to be some system two, and be a balanced, critical thinker that way. What can we do with this information that we know about ourselves and the way we work? This helps you with empathy, understanding how you work will give you the ability to recognize yourself in others, and understand why you do this. You understand why they do it, and it helps you with communication. It helps you with uh, influence of your own if you want to get a certain behavior out of somebody else. So this is great. Okay, information. None of this is original. This I've read like several books and podcasts, and I compiled it together. And my next talk will be original, but this one is just, I think this is information stuff. And here's some references. Thank you very much, and I think it's time to eat. So thank you.